Hello, it's Ruby, and last week I travelled alone in mainland Europe for the first time. I'm currently writing a novel, but have recently had quite a lot of writer's block and thought a change of scenery might just help to give me some inspiration. And so I went to Venice.
Here in Venice,
a city which inspired Byron, Du Maurier, Shelley, Hemingway and Thomas Mann. I thought it might help.
I'm just standing here on the edge of the lagoon and getting this really weird wave of nostalgia. I don't know where it's coming from because I haven't been here before. I think it's from when I read Death in Venice. Something like this was described and it just feels like I've already been. It's very odd. I genuinely still can't believe that I'm here. I kept on back and forthing so much as to whether I would come or not. I've just checked into my hotel and it's really beautiful, honestly. Like, the building itself is stunning. The room, as you can see, has got this wonderful brickwork here. There's a desk, a full-length mirror. Ignore the clothes on the bed.
I dropped off my things, checked in, and then I ventured into Venice. I was staying in the back streets and wandered over bridge and river searching for La Piazza San Marco. My grandparents warned me that I would get lost, and I very nearly did, but I made it to La Piazza, a space where pigeons flurry in snowdrifts and cover the square like granite tiles, and I saw what Percy Shelley described. Its temples and palaces did seem like fabrics of enchantment piled to heaven. So I wandered for a short while, just taking in the extravagance of this square. I noticed that there was no queue for the bell tower, La Campanile, so I bought a €10 ticket and climbed to the top to see Venice for the first time. And it was a wonder, a pure, real, absolute wonder. I stayed up here for about 40 minutes and watched the sun drop, the city start again with dusk, ready to show the stars, which Galileo actually showed the Doge in 1609 from this very same bell tower. This tower arches as this perpetual reminder of things that are bigger, more important than us, which is just encapsulated in the fact that this is where Galileo showed the Doge his telescope for the first time. After that, I wandered some more.
It's quite dirty, not gonna lie.
And just soaked up the energy of the space, which is my favourite thing to do when arriving somewhere new. So I just bought a gelato from Gelato Fantasy, which had so many vegan options, and their pistachio especially was really tasty, and I just admired the way that Venice looked at night, basically. Then eventually, after looking around for a while, I found a small taverna and got some bruschetta and just did some writing, basically, with my first impressions of the city.
I spent the last few hours just exploring Venice, and I mean, I'd seen pictures, I knew that it was going to be beautiful. It's just exceeded my expectations. It's even better than I thought it would be, and there's just so much to see. It's like every path you go down, there's something new, there's something different. I also bought this ginormous punnet of strawberries. Anyway, I'm gonna get into bed. It's 9:30. I didn't sleep very much last night and I definitely want to be well rested for tomorrow because I'm going to do a lot of the museums tomorrow. I'm planning on doing the Basilica and the Bibliotheca tomorrow. They're the two I'm most excited about, so I kind of want to get them down at the beginning so that I've definitely seen them and I don't accidentally not end up seeing them. Also, a quick haul. One thing you've probably realised by now is that the main thing I buy is postcards. I just buy so many postcards. I like sending them to people. I really like letter writing, and I also always have like a mood board of postcards up above my desk, so I do use postcards. So I've got these two to send to people, and then this stationery shop was wonderful, but I got this beautiful card. This was only £2. It's some really nice manuscript paper. They're like just tiny pieces. I've actually been looking for something like this for ages. I love the idea of having one in your pocket, and then if you want to like leave a thank you note or something, you can use these. Okay, good night. Good morning. So I'm just gonna walk down to San Marco's now and buy my museum pass and hope that the lines aren't super long already, because I think they probably will be.
One of my favourite statues was this one, Daedalus and Icarus by Antonio Canova. So if you're not familiar with the story of Icarus, Daedalus and his son Icarus created wings out of feathers and attached them with wax. But when Icarus flew, he flew too close to the sun and the wax melted, which meant that his feathers fell off. We know this myth, and there's dramatic irony when we look at the statue because we know what's going to happen to Icarus. And yet frozen in the stone, we see the anxiety, the care of Daedalus as he desperately fixes the wax, hoping that the feathers will stay in place. So this is La Biblioteca Marciana, and in 1603 they actually passed a law which meant printing presses had to send a copy of anything published to the library, a little bit like what we have with the Bodleian in Oxford. So Doge Palace is exquisite. It's actually Byzantine architecture and so incredibly old, and it was the heart of Venetian government for centuries until the Republic fell in 1797. It's an incredible space to walk around, very inspiring. I was actually listening to Italian opera music whilst I was walking around, which was very fitting, and I would recommend that if you do go. So in Doge Palace you walk over the Bridge of Sighs, and Lord Byron wrote, "I stood in Venice on the Bridge of Sighs, a palace and a prison on either hand." That just perfectly captures this disjunct between the prison and the palace.
So you've then got the prisons, which is straight underneath, and after the grandeur of seeing those rooms above, it's so stark. So I got back to my room maybe 10 minutes ago, and I've just been decompressing a little bit. Let me say, Venice is amazing. So my plan today was to go first to the Basilica, but ended up not buying a Basilica ticket, but I went to Doge Palace and the Museum Corre. I really enjoyed what I did see, even if it wasn't originally what I was planning on seeing, and I'm just going to see the Basilica tomorrow morning instead. The line for the Basilica gets so long so quickly, and so I need to find a way to pre-book my ticket for that. I put on mascara, which was a rookie mistake. It always runs. I'm not usually a big fan of cities, I'm definitely much more of a countryside person, but Venice is such a small city that it doesn't really feel, I mean, that's a lie. It doesn't always have the bustle of the big cities do. San Marco Square though is so crowded. So I mean, I really love the architecture there, but it is a bit too crowded, and I do prefer the feel of the back streets. Oh, actually, I'm getting into this, but because I'm gonna go for dinner, I think I might change into my dress. This is probably my favourite evening dress. Like so many of my dresses, it used to be my mum's. A lot of the dresses that she had when she was younger or my age, I now have, which is really nice. When my mum bought it, she said it was because it reminded her of Pretty Woman, she called it her Pretty Woman dress. I think it's when she goes to the races, she wears a polka dot dress like this. I think I might wear it down and then wear this big bow in it. And I'm also going to wear a red lipstick. Something about being in a European city which isn't London I mean, which just makes me want to have like a dot clip. I might redo my eyebrow. My favourite thing actually ended up being the Doge Palace. This might sound silly, but I wasn't going to book to go there. This is terrible for me to say. I understand and realise my mistake now, but I thought that it might be slightly overrated, and so I wasn't going to go. And then my grandma was like, no, you have to go, that's the best place. And she was so right. The paintings in the Doge Palace were just exceptional. Just kind of how the space uses religious art in order to aid and strengthen the authority of the council. There was, I can't remember the name of the room, I'll put it on the screen, but one of the rooms they had this painting, massive, it covered the whole of one of the walls, and in the middle you have Jesus, and he's emitting this light and it illuminates everything around him, and this light, it genuinely just seems to glow, like it's just paint, but it seems to glow and it's beautiful. Let's go. I think I'm going to leave this camera here though and just bring my GoPro, because it's one fewer thing to hold and I probably won't film when I'm actually having dinner. I don't know why I'm actually nervous to go out for a meal by myself. I think Venice is even more beautiful at this time of day, mostly because it's a little bit quieter. It's very busy in this square. I'm back in San Marco Square just because I know my way from here. I've got tiramisu all around my mouth. I didn't realise that. So the restaurant was called La Taccia Bagana and it was amazing. Everything on the menu was vegan. But I would say if you're gonna go, book ahead, because I was really lucky to get a table. It was only because I got there just as they opened. In my room now for the night and I might just read. I think I will start The Man in the Picture by Susan Hill. It's partially based in Venice, which is why I bought it for this trip.
On the third day, Friday, I started the day by writing at the hotel. The reception space looks right out onto the canal and it was the perfect quiet space to write in. As I said before, I took this trip to focus on writing my novel, and this is basically what I was writing here. I couldn't help but actually bring Venice into my book, and I actually really think it works. Originally, one of my characters was going to go to Rome, but I changed this in the end and rewrote this section so she went to Venice instead, and here is just a tiny snippet of something that I wrote. She woke up early the first morning. Early enough that the sun hadn't risen and the lagoon was speckled only with the occasional water taxi. The San Giorgio Maggiore Basilica carved out from the horizon like Rossi's Adam and Eve. Venice was dreary and covered in a patina of rain, but I was worried I wouldn't see the basilica at all if I didn't queue today, so queue I did for a good 45 minutes. I made the terrible mistake of forgetting my umbrella. The basilica was good and obviously impressive, the colours especially, all of the gold and red and green, which would have been especially vibrant in the 9th century where colour was expensive and rare outside of nature. So like so many people who visit Venice, La Basilica San Marco was the top thing I wanted to see. But I thought of everything, it was probably the most overrated, mostly because it's just so crowded and feels quite formulaic when you're going through, because you look around almost in a line because, well, when I went there were so many people, and I preferred the other churches I happened across. Anyway, next I went to Acqua Alta bookshop, again top on the list and close to the hotel as well. This has staircases made of books and a gondola filled with them to protect them when it floods. It's so unique and definitely a bucket list spot ticked off.
went to the Basilica this morning and then I did a little bit of shopping, went to the main shops that I wanted to go to. The floating bookshop, which is so cool, and there's a gondola in the middle which is filled with books. They didn't have many English books, so they didn't give me books. Virgin Mary and Jesus. I just really like this. That was only €2 and then this one was €1. I haven't had a coffee today, so I think I might go out for a cafe au latte. Not all coffee shops though have like oat milk or soy milk. Like last time I went to mainland Europe, I made a note to myself to do this, but I've got this mini hip flask and I've bought some oat milk. I really don't like black coffee. It's just too intense for me.
This second basilica was my favourite church I visited, by the way. I'd recommend you going.
I'm really tired. This is a running theme. Every time I pick up the camera, I feel like it's for me to say that I'm incredibly tired. I'm realizing that Venice is so great for like for independent craftsmanship, but specifically for stationery. But I did go to this place called Il Pavoni. He's had his business for 35 years and he creates beautiful notebooks but also stamps, and I bought an ex Libris personal stamp for my friend for her birthday. I also went to Scriba. I did buy this. It's a wax seal spoon. Whilst I'm talking to you as well, I thought I would tell you a little bit about the sponsor of today's video, which is NordVPN, which is such an essential when traveling, and I'm really glad to have NordVPN now that I am abroad in Italy.
NordVPN is an incredibly easy way to change your VPN address, and it's actually the fastest VPN server out there.
So all I'm gonna do is click here, switch to London. I just generally find it more convenient to be browsing on a UK web browser because that's what I'm used to, and if I'm searching for something related to England as opposed to Italy, it shows me more relevant results. If you've been looking to try a VPN server, then NordVPN is a really great option. As you can see, it's so easy to connect and it offers thousands of different servers. A VPN can keep your data more secure and let you access content that is in your country, or just let you browse more smoothly if you're abroad, and it's a really useful thing to have if you are traveling. If you've been looking to try a way of changing your VPN address, then NordVPN offers a 30-day money-back guarantee, which means that you can try it out without there really being a risk, which is nice. And if you do decide to sign up and use my link nordvpn.com/Ruby, then you can get an additional 4 months free on the 2-year plan. So thank you so much NordVPN for sponsoring today's video. Because I am feeling very tired, I'm going to read some more of The Man in the Picture, which I barely read today. I didn't bring this out with me, I brought my Kindle. And on my Kindle I'm reading The Wonder by Emma Donoghue.
I often spent time looking at it though, staring at the faces, the shadows, the buildings, the dark rippling waters of the Grand Canal, and I also vowed that one day I would go to Venice. I had never been a great traveller, as you know. I love the English countryside too much and never wanted to venture far from it during vacations.
This is really good. Slow burner but already uncanny and spooky.
I started the next day with a very expensive coffee at Florian's. This was a frequent spot of Oscar Wilde and I couldn't resist going, and I've heard that this is the oldest coffee shop in the world, so it was something I really wanted to see.
I'm just walking down to Galleria Accademica. It's very awkward with walking in public as per, and I went into Il Babero to buy some letter writing paper. I actually love the letter writing paper here. Excuse the fact I am in the toilet. I've temporarily left La Galleria because I'm quite hungry and very thirsty, and so they kindly signed my ticket and said that I could come back in an hour. The lagoon is right here, so I might see if I can find something with a good view.
You might be wondering what kind of thing I write in my commonplace book, because I've got loads of clips of me just walking around the gallery writing things. I just write observations and the names of my favourite paintings so I can look them up if I decide to later. One of my favourite things in the gallery was Giovanni Bellini's Madonnas and how they're haunted by the eventual fate of Jesus, this dissociative melancholy where the infant looks already near dead. They're haunting paintings and some of my favourite Madonnas that I've come across.
But I've come back to my room just for a little bit because when I left this morning it was quite cold, but it's now really warm. And this top is knitted, so I'm going to change into my dress. Just the same one I wore last night and the night before. I'm going to a Vivaldi concert tonight, which I'm so looking forward to. It's in the church where the music was first performed, and so it's going to be incredible to listen to the Four Seasons like in that original space. I'm a really big believer in fusing space and art. I think art and space go hand in hand. So to experience this music in this space is just going to be amazing. And as soon as I saw it, I booked tickets. Okay, I'm all ready and it's quite sunny, so I have got my sunglasses. It feels nice to actually use them. I didn't pack very much with me, and so I wanted to use them at least once. Venice in the day is beautiful, of course, but I haven't actually been out in the evening to see that. It's like an ether which has fallen over the city. It's incredible. But that concert, it was just better, more than I could have anticipated, like especially the final section, the winter, the inverno. The piccolo was playing these single staccato notes, and it was like the snow was melting, and like you could hear the sounds of winter, you could hear the silence of winter, and then the strength of the storms, and genuinely just, I've never heard Vivaldi like that before. I think because I've only ever listened to him really in extracts, like I'll listen to a piece while studying and it'll be on in the background, but that was different, remarkable. Just I'm a little bit overwhelmed by it, if I'm completely honest. If you happen to find yourself in Venice, then I'd recommend listening to it in the Vivaldi church. But just if you had a chance to listen to it live at all from a live orchestra, it was so different to listening to it on Spotify. Anyway, I'm going to soak up the beauty of Venice at night when it was rainy the other day. Someone said this in Florian's this morning. They said, well, actually Venice in the rain is beautiful because you get all the light on the water in the same way that you get at night. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna enjoy the way that Venice looks right now. Night advanced. Time was crumbling. Isn't that great?
Not a stain in the sun-brimmed sapphire cup that is the sky, not a ripple on the black translucent lane of the palace-walled lagoon, not a cry as the gondoliers with velvet oar glide by through the golden afternoon. From this height, where the carved, age-yellowed balcony orators yonder liquid marble pavement see the light, shimmer soft beneath the bridge that abuts on a labyrinth of waterways and shuts half their sky off with its ridge.
really enjoyed it. Honestly, the architecture and the decoration of those rooms is stunning.
I returned to Cafe Florian. This time I got an orange tea, which was delicious. Instead of writing though, I read. I'd finished Death in Venice the day before, so I started reading The Merchant of Venice by William Shakespeare instead.
I saw this deep dish pizza place yesterday and it looked amazing, so I think I'm gonna go back and try it.
And yes, I found the pizza, which was just as good as I'd hoped, if not better. This was honestly such a good find and very quiet too. There were people at the bottom, but hardly anyone actually climbed the tower. The Palazzo Contarini del Bavolo, and there was a temporary modern art exhibit too, which kind of confused me honestly. So the ticket was €6 and I definitely made full use of that. I stayed up there and just wrote in the tower for honestly nearly an hour. I ended up writing a whole chapter of my book. There was just something about the quietness and the looming prospect of leaving Venice that afternoon, which spurred me on, or inspired me, I suppose. I also wrote a journal entry whilst I was up here, which I wanted to share with you. I'm at the top of the Palazzo Contarini and realised there's something beautiful about stone and how it holds you. I can lean entirely into the pillars, easily fall and yet never do. This tower has been here for hundreds of years and still, or maybe in spite of this, it has that strength and it won't let me fall. My dad said the same in the climbing frame when I was 3. "Don't worry, Ruby," he said. "I won't let you fall." There's something about someone saying your name, even now, by myself in Venice, 100 feet up in the skies of a sinking city.
Standing up, leaning out, looking out over the view, and it was the most inspiring thing. So worth it, honestly, just for the level of inspiration, and you can't put a price on thoughts like that. Like, certain spaces inspire thought, inspire thinking, and this architecture.
I was tired by this point and just wanted to read and write, so I headed back to the hotel and wrote in that same spot as before, overlooking the canal. I know this is repetitive, I just keep on writing, but I did book this as a writing trip and I got from this trip what I really hoped I would and what I was afraid I wouldn't get from it. I'm not claiming or saying that what I produced was any good and that the writing is good, but that wasn't my goal. The goal was to feel inspired and to fall back in love with writing, and that's what was more important to me, the process, the journey, not the destination.
At the moment, they kindly said that I could just wait here for a bit until I have to leave for my flight. I'm going to leave in about like half an hour to walk down to the Ali Laguna, I think that's the name of it. It's like a water taxi that goes to the airport. But I'm sat here writing some more. I managed to get so much writing done, honestly. I'm quite amazed that I managed to get as much done as I have. And so I've managed to write like part 3, part 4 and part 5. And I'm going to try and finish, part 5 before the plane lands. But I'm not going to put pressure on myself because I managed to write so much more than I was hoping to this trip.
Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you ever get the chance to visit Venice, I would highly recommend you do. They estimate that the city might be gone in 20 years because of rising sea levels and climate change, and Venice is this perpetual reminder of how much we have got to lose and how close we are to losing things. It's this harrowing, haunting thought of what's at stake, I guess. But thank you for watching, thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring today's video, and I hope that you have more than just a productive week.